Hey everybody, Blind Man Travels here. Today I am talking about quitting my job. Now, in all honesty, I am not quitting my job yet, but that is part of the goals here of getting started with a travel channel. I have to be authentic and honest with you all in regards to that. It's been only a little while since August, and it's now October. And since that time, I have covered Los Angeles, Albuquerque, and now I'm in Houston because I am doing my 12 cities and 12 months travel challenge on this channel, because the goal of what I'm doing here as Blind Man Travels is I want to create travel related content on a full time basis. So, first of all, I did start that challenge again in August, and thanks to you all, this channel has grown hugely since then. I am showing the analytics from YouTube Studio for this channel to give you an idea of what I've been working with. I went to Japan in May of 2024. So that's about 6 months ago. And since that time, I have been consistently recording and uploading videos for this channel. And in that time, this channel has garnered almost 30,000 views, which isn't a lot for me, but it's a start. And it's also garnered over 500 subscribers. I was right at maybe 50 subscribers when I started this channel, or started to vlog my travel experiences in Japan in May. Since that point in time, I am, as of right now, looking at 591 subscribers, thanks to all the support from men and women like you. So, part of what I am doing here is I want to be able to do this to inspire other disabled people to travel freely like I have been lucky enough to. I should tell you a little bit about myself. First of all, I was born legally blind. I have always been legally blind. Now, that being said, I do not call my channel name Legally Blind Man Travels, because that doesn't work well for search engine optimization. I just call the channel Blind Man Travels for SEO, and also because it sticks in people's heads. It's an easy name for people to remember. That's why I picked the name that I did. And honestly, while I welcome everybody to view my content and sharing my experiences with me, I wanted to create the channel for someone who is in the same position where I was maybe 10 or 15 years ago when I was first traveling independently. The first time I went to Europe was back in 2009. And when I came back, I had such a thrill, such an accelerated feeling about being able to plan that trip and execute that trip successfully, independently, with proper accommodation for what I needed as a disabled person, that I was over the moon. So I did it again and again and again. You see, I have always had an interest in history. Ever since I was in grade school, I've always had an interest in history and geography, which translates, because I have an interest in travel, even to this day. There's a saying, and I don't remember the saying exactly or who said it, but basically it's to the point of, the man I am today is the child I was, is the son of the child I was when I was growing up. For me, that was reading history, biography, looking at maps, pouring at maps, looking at encyclopedias, learning about different countries. Now, I'm Generation X. I was born in the 70s, so I am over 40. I remember a time before there ever was an internet. I also remember a time before the whole sum of human knowledge was accessible in my hand, just like it is now. I actually had to learn to research that information. And I'm very grateful that I've gained those particular skills, because those have stood me well. So, again, I started out, I went to my first trip abroad was back in 2009. I spent a week in London and a week in Paris. Then in 2010, I went and spent a couple of weeks in Italy, mostly in Rome, and then went to Tuscany and looked around at Florence and looked at all the Renaissance art that was done there. Then in 2011, I extended it out even longer. I did a 3-week journey solo to Germany. And I had a fantastic time in Germany. I loved it there. And then in 2012, I went further east to Austria and to Ukraine before there was any conflict in the region. And then there was a time where I couldn't travel anymore. And it wasn't until 2019 again when I could travel again. And then I went to Japan solo. And I went to Tokyo for a week, and then I went to Osaka for a week. And then I came back. And then, of course, 2020 there was the big C word. So we're not going to say anything about that, but that did limit my ability to travel freely. And then in 2022, Japan was not yet open. So I went to Singapore because I wanted to go back to Asia because I loved it in Asia. So I chose to spend a couple of weeks in Singapore. And Singapore is a fantastic place if you love food. Some of my earliest videos on this channel come from my time in Singapore. And then in 2024, I went to Osaka and Tokyo again. And part of it is because of all the places I've been to in Japan, I really love Osaka the most. It's because it's not the capital, and people tend to be a little bit more friendly there than they are in Tokyo, where they can tend to be a little bit more formal. So I went to Osaka, spent a week there, and then took the Shinkansen bullet train to Tokyo, spent a week there, and then I flew back. And I've vlogged about that journey on this channel. So there are a lot of videos from then, from when I was in Japan. So those are still part of my history there. So that's just something I love. I'm maybe a blind man, and I happen to love to travel. So let me explain something else to you. So my vision is caused by optic dysplasia. So the best way to explain that is it's an underdevelopment of the optic nerve. So I honestly only see in the right eye, and I don't see in the left eye at all. So yes, I can handle the camera. I may not always see if everything's in frame properly. That's why I really like this camera, because the lens is designed specifically to track with me. Doesn't always work perfectly, but it's a great little camera because it does a fantastic job, and it's the camera that I use for most of my food vlogs. Just because of that reason. It's small and it fits almost anywhere, and I can use it to record in 4K. I can see to use a computer without adaptive tech, or with very little accessibility options on the computer. So I can navigate through DaVinci Resolve, and I can edit my own videos. I don't do a lot of edit. Usually when I'm editing, it's to cut the useless bits out. I probably won't do a lot of editing on this video because I want it to be, since it's just me talking, it's a talking head video, I want it to be something where it's more authentically me. So maybe a little bit low effort on my part, but I'm trying to do something or trying to create something here so that I, as a disabled person, can hopefully inspire other disabled people to share my love of travel. I've gotten to the point where whenever anyone in my family wants to plan a trip, they're usually talking to me about it. So I'm usually doing in-family travel agenting for them, just because I've gotten good at looking at airfares and knowing what's what when I look at airfares. So I'm really good at itinerary planning. And I'm really good at doing this. And hey, it's a passion that I love. So I am going to, at one point in time, quit my day job so that I can do this full time. But again, I'm not doing that yet, but I will. Just because I want to create the kind of content that helps to inspire others. And I hope that I'm doing that. I do think I have reached some people, especially with the channel growth in the past few months since May. So I appreciate everybody who has taken the time to hit that subscribe button, because it has shown me that there is a community of like-minded people who want to know more about traveling, or to, at the very least, to see me traveling. That's why I try to be as relatable as I can. The best way that I can explain my site for those of you who are curious is, like I said, in my left eye, I see pretty much nil. In my right eye, I see 20 over 200. So what that means is, if I'm walking with somebody and you are my friend and we're walking together and you tell me that there's a tree 200 feet away, I'm not going to see that tree right away. I'll take your word for it, because you haven't led me wrong yet. You haven't told me incorrect or information, but I won't see it until I get up to 20 feet. By that point in time, you'll be seeing it in clearer detail than I will be, but it's like I'm working with a bit of a delay when I'm seeing visual information getting to my eye. So I wanted to check in with everybody and let you all know how much I appreciate all of your support, because it does mean a lot to me, because it shows me that there are people who want to watch the kind of content that I am creating here. And we're just going to leave it at that. If you like the kind of content that I'm putting out here and you have not done so yet, please consider hitting the subscribe button down below. And also make sure that you do click on the bell button for notification, and share in the comments if there's anything that you want to do, or anything that inspires you or motivates you to want to do something that is your passion, regardless whether there are any obstacles in your way in order to do that, I think we can get a really good conversation going in the comments section for that. More travels coming soon. To see the video I did for my Wendy's mistake, click right there. To see the video I did for my Burger King disappointment, click right there. Again, I'm not sure where it's going to be exactly because I'm blind.